Hey, welcome to this video. I'm Mike Giannoulis with MikeGiannoulis.com, and I'm going to show you how to use Roam Research quickly. I'll get right to the really cool stuff. We're going to learn about daily notes, how to use pages, how to use bidirectional linking. We'll talk about the sidebar, metadata, and some cool bonus stuff. So stick with me, and we're going to dive right in and do this. Let's go. All right. Again, I said my name is Mike Giannoulis. I can be found at MikeGiannoulis.com, where I talk about productivity, note-taking, all that kind of fun stuff. But you don't care about that. What you care about is how the heck do you use Roam Research. Firstly, let me apologize for this. I want to apologize for my thumbnail. I read that if you use like a really shocked face, it gets more clicks. So we'll see. I made this using Canva. In case you're interested, I'm on a paid account of Canva.com. And I used a picture of me holding my dogs, and they got in a fight, and it was pretty crazy. So anyway, what I want to talk about, you can see I'm inside the Roam interface here. I am a believer, which means I went ahead and paid for the 5-year plan of Roam. I'm going to assume you know something about Roam because you're trying to learn more about it. So I'm not going to go into like the historical stuff and all that. We're just going to dive in on how to actually use Roam. I'm going to aim for this being no more than 15 minutes. We'll do my best. I'll do my best to do that. All right, so let's dive in. So you'll see this is sort of the Roam interface. I'm on the main, I'm on a page within Roam, but the way that Roam is structured, as you can see, is all bullet based. Okay, so if you've used other platforms, I believe Notion is this way as well. You sort of have bullets, but they don't call it that. In Roam, they call them blocks. So if you ever hear people talking about a block or a sub block and all that stuff, don't get confused. Just know that really it's the Roam way of saying a bullet point. And like everything, like in the old days, like when you took notes, you can actually kind of hit enter and you can tab over and go more in depth. So blah blah blah. You can type more stuff, and that goes on, as far as I know, infinitely. I haven't really tested it, but this is called nesting. So you're going to nest tabs within, and that's kind of how you structure things. And you can go as far as you want over, and that's basically the way that you type in Roam. But I kind of I'm going to switch these two here because I think it's better with my order to start with this one. So we're going to move that up. Daily notes, that's where everything starts in Roam. I think that's what makes Roam different than other note platforms, because your home page, or like kind of where you start, is in here in the daily notes section. I'm going to open up a new tab. Actually, I can't, so never mind. I forgot with Roam, you don't want to really do that because you are trying to update a database in real time. So we'll just jump back to this page as we need it. So if you go up to the daily notes section, I'm going to close some of my things in case I have said anything crazy, because you never know. This is real. This is my actual everyday Roam that I use. So you can see that we're in an area called daily notes. What's cool is this actually updates every single day. So every day when you come in, the first thing you'll see is whatever today's date is. And so, for example, if we were to jump to tomorrow, you'll see a blank page. So let's do that real quick. I'll show you how to jump to tomorrow, and then we can work within a blank page. So I can just do this little slash command and hit tomorrow. Sorry about that if the mic went off a little bit. That was just me. I'm going to hit that, and you'll see that it made this kind of like bracket thing which goes around the date, and when you click off that, it becomes a link, okay, which is really cool. So if we click on this, now you'll see this is what you would start with if you came in every single day. When you come in for a fresh day, it would actually look a lot like this. You'll see the date, and you won't see anything here. And the only thing you'll see are these linked references, which we'll talk about that soon. We won't jump into that yet. So what I recommend if you're going to use Roam Research is you come up with sort of a template that you begin your day with. So for me, I have sort of a daily template that I use, and I use a text expander software. The one I use is called Text Blaze, you can check that out. So I use TextBlaze, and it allows me to put in a little bit of code, which for me I think is apostrophe DN. And when I type that in, it kind of inserts this little code for me. And when I hit enter, I have my template. What I'm about to show you is sort of an advanced feature, so I shouldn't have even begun with this, but here we are, right? So if you click on it, you'll see that this is referencing something else. That's what this little orange kind of line means, that this is referencing another area. So if I click on that, I can actually do a thing called applying children. Again, this is advanced, so don't be so concerned over this. But I just want to show you how the day could start for you, and I can do more in depth on this stuff. Just you know, feel free to ask. But if you do apply children as references, this is going to basically copy this text that I've already created and insert it in. So this is what I do every day to start my day off. So click that. Now you'll see that it's copied all these things over. So you don't need this anymore because that was just kind of a placeholder for me to drag everything over. So I'll go ahead and delete that and make sure it's gone. And then I'll move all these things over so they're all equal, because I don't want them to be nested under. So what I do, and I'll just run through these really quickly, I have an interstitial journal. I have a thing called Super 6, which is the top 6 items I want to get done that day. And those are items that actually make my day go well, like getting things done, writing a blog post, making this video. These are my top things that I want to get done. My tasks are all the dumb, boring stuff, like going to the bank, sending a bank wire, going to the grocery store, just the things that I have to do that I don't really want to do, but you know, you've got to. The upcoming tasks are the things that I know will either be a future task or a future Super 6 item. So things that I get told, next week I'm gonna have to do this, or in a month I'm gonna have to do this. I log them all under there so they're not forgotten. I'll come back to the journal too, but let's run over morning pages. So these are the questions that I ask myself. I try to do it at least 3 or 4 times a week. I ask myself, what am I thankful for? Do I let matters get out of my control? Am I treating my wife right? Am I using my time wisely? Am I being true to myself? Am I accomplishing my goals? And then I can kind of just type something randomly just to kind of get my thoughts out. It's kind of like plumbing. You just want to get everything out. So sometimes I'll sit and just type just whatever pops in my head, just to kind of get things out of there. So this is how I start my day. So if you did something like this, it'd be a great way to get started. But we'll jump back to the main page. So we want to run through this item. So we kind of went over the daily notes. That's where your day starts. It's where you log everything, where you track everything. You can log your daily activities. You can also use it, like I said, for journaling, and it also is great for task management. That's one thing I didn't show you, but real quick, I'll just show you this kind of cool little trick. If you wanted to get something done, like let's say for me, I wanted to finish up this video, I could actually type in like finish YouTube video, and all I have to do is hit /to-do, and it kind of pops up there, and boom, by doing that, when I get off that thing, it created a checkbox. So I can come back, and when I'm done with that, I just check it and I'm done. So you can check it on, check it off. So that's kind of how you can use Roam for task management, which is a great, cool little feature, at least I think so. Now let's jump back over and keep going through our list. So that kind of explains the daily notes. That's where you start with everything. Now let's talk about links, attributes, tags, and pages. The cool thing about this, these are all basically the same thing, but they're just the way that they're all links in a sense that bring you back to a page, but Roam allows you to structure them in a different way. Okay, so as I said, they're all the same, just different looks, and in the future, attributes may have more features. So let me just show you, going back to the daily notes, kind of the different ways that you can create pages. So what makes Roam so cool is that while you're typing, you can actually, say you can tag things in real time as you go. A lot of you have used like Twitter or Facebook and things like that, and you kind of tag people. Well, in Roam, you can tag ideas, you can tag concepts, you can tag words, and those words become links like down here that kind of stay around forever. So what we can do here as an example, just to show you the different types of ways that you can tag. The first way is with the double brackets, which is probably the most standard way. So let's just say I was going to create a page. I would hit bracket, and you see that it auto created the closing brackets for me. We have page 1. Okay, so if I click off that, you'll see that now I have a page. And if I click on that page, you'll see that it opens me up to page 1, where I can write and do anything I want to do in that page 1. But what's kind of neat is you also can do a tag. But the difference is when you do a tag or a hashtag, you can't have the space. So see here, I have a space, page space 1. If you're going to do a tag, you really can't do that. So if there's a tag, you have to do it like this, like page 1. Now, interestingly enough, this is also a page, but it's not the same page as this page. So check this out. See, now here's page 1. Then the third way that you can create a link is an attribute. So when you have an attribute, you would do something like this. You would do go back to page 1, and you would put colon. Okay, now that created a page again. So if I click over here, you'll see that this is the same page 1 as the original. So there's page 1 and there's page 1. The difference here is you see that it's a different look. It becomes more of a bold feature, and also it gives you sort of an ability in the future. I won't go into it now because it's way beyond the depth of this, but in the future there's going to be, this is called an attribute tag, and in the future they're going to have a lot more ability to search and query things using these brackets. The third way, let's say you wanted to have a page space 1 page made, but you wanted it to look more like the hashtag. Okay, so how would you do that? It's really simple. You kind of are going to combine number 1 and number 2. So you would hit a hashtag, and then you would do your brackets, and then you would start typing your page 1, and you'll see that because it exists, they'll actually find it for you. So let's click that, and now you'll see what happens. So it created this page 1, which looks more like the tag. But again, if you click on this, you'll see we're back to page 1 with all these examples. Okay, so that's sort of a quick rundown of the page structure. Now we'll keep cranking here, so I'm trying to go fast and doing everything that I can do. It's a lot more than you think it is. All right, so for me, what I use pages whenever I'm going to write from scratch. Okay, and this is like more of a traditional structure. So let's say I come in and I'm going to write like this page that I'm on. It's a YouTube video, and it's on how to use Roam. So I don't use the daily notes section for things that I'm going to like use and distribute. I use these more for like everyday items that come up. But I like to create pages when I'm going to create something like this video. So when you do that, it kind of gives you this cool way to write things. And anytime you've ever linked anything to this page anywhere else in your Roam database, it will be referenced here. I want to show you one quick cool little hack, which I was going to talk about here, but I'll jump it up, which is the sidebar. So if there's any links that you want to be able to access while you create or while you write, you can actually click over here. But when you click, hold down Shift. So if I hold down Shift and I click Google Keep, which is some of my notes, you'll see now that I have this cool sidebar. So instead of it opening here, it opened in the sidebar. So now I have all these notes that I've taken on these particular books, and these came from my Google Keep notes, and I was able to bring those in, and you see you can collapse. So this is an article I read called By a Unicorn, and you'll see that I use tags that help me in the future to find this article or this content or stumble upon it when I'm, let's say I'm writing a piece on copywriting. I may then be able to go, oh yeah, this article will show up as a linked reference, and I could take some of this content, and I have a few options actually, which is neat. I could, let's say I wanted to talk about, copywriting and how important it is. Well, this company, Thrasio, they're a profitable $300 million company, and look at what they do. They hire creative, which is copy. So I can actually, I have a few options. I can copy that, just like the old school way, like Control C. I'm on a PC, and I can bring it over here. But also a cool thing, and this is what really sets Roam apart, is what's called a block reference or a block ref. And it allows me to basically create a cloned copy that is linked to the original statement. So if I hold down Control Alt, I think it's Control Alt, and then I drag it over and drop it, you'll see that what it did is it created, when you'll see it created this little code. This code is telling the database to go look for the original copy, which is here. So you can see this little orange shows me that this is a copy. What makes this so cool is if in the future I'm like, you know what, I was wrong. It wasn't creative copy in design. I wanted it to be a capital copy, and I wanted it to be a capital design. So I changed the original, and look what happened. It changed it over here. So this is really cool if you've ever had an update to your info and you think, man, every time I ever reference that, I gotta fix it everywhere. No, instead, you just fix it once in one area, and then bam, it's good to go wherever you used it. And that's a great feature that Roam has. So we can do other videos where I can walk through how to write things, but this is what is great. You can just find articles, find things that you've read that will probably be referenced here, because if there's any tags that correlate, they'll show up, and you can see it all right here and drag that content over. I've already gone over my time, so I will try to hurry. I hope you're enjoying this. Just let me know how I can do better next time. So we won't go into it too much, but we kind of covered the sidebar. Bidirectional linking, we'll talk about that in a more, but it's basically just connecting disparate ideas, and how the brain functions is that we look for things that kind of go back and forth. So like, for example, if I were to click on Warren Buffett, you can see that I reference Warren Buffett here on the 5 forces of competition model. I have a Warren Buffett quote. So if I click again, this will bring me back here, but now I have the word quote. If I click on quote, this is going to show me every single time I ever tag something quote. So here's a great quote from the Visual Value founder, Jack Butcher, and I can click on that and I can read it. When you build your audience with transparency, you can sell with transparency. Great quote. I love that. See, I may have not ever found that, but see, I can see this whenever I'm on any page that has the word quote on it. That's about Jack Butcher. That's about transparency. That's about sales. Any of those times, any of those words come up, I'll be able to find this quote. And that's what makes Roam so powerful, is that you can find all these kind of connected pieces that maybe you haven't seen before. Like here's a great quote from David Perel: "The world rewards those who are best at communicating ideas, not those with the best ideas." Again, cool quote. So these are all just things, and the things that my brain would never probably connect at the same time. This is a book about how to weightlift. This is a competition. Here are things for Evernote, right? There's all these things. Here's a book called Profit First. Like, it's combining all these things that maybe I would have never thought about before. So that's kind of the concept of bidirectional linking, which is very, very awesome. So we covered the sidebar. I'll touch on metadata real quick. I'll just show you mine. So if you're going to analyze a piece of info, and I got this from Nat Eliason, who's sort of the de facto Rome teacher at this point. But he basically taught to create sort of like metadata that you can use. So you have like, if you're going to read an article, you would want to write down who's the author, what's the status, is it read, is it unread, is it in your inbox, is it on pause, is it stopped? You can kind of come up with your own statuses. What's the topic? What are the tags that you'll use to in the future find this thing? What's the URL from the article? Where did the content come from? And then you can do a summary of what did you learn from the piece or notes that you took. And you can have these for all your different types of things. So you have articles and books and podcasts. I have one for YouTube. There's also one for people, which is kind of cool. So if you meet people, you can kind of track them and have info on them. Very, very cool feature. So that's the metadata portion, which I think it's an important thing to have. Let's jump back to that page. I'll show you a couple more quick things and then we'll wrap up. There are some really cool features that Rome has. We kind of covered the block ref, which was cool. I'm going to go ahead and delete these. What I want to show you real quick are just are 3 or 4 cool features that not everyone knows Rome has. So we'll talk about the upload. We did the to do and the done. That's great. Queries, we'll save that for a different time, but I'll show you the timer and the word count. Okay, so let's say you're going to write something. You have this goal and you want to start to write. So one of the things that's tough about when you write is being focused, right? And you want to keep your attention. So you could even say to yourself, I'm going to write for 25 minutes. Okay. Well, one of the things you want to know how many words, and you could say my goal is 1,000 words, let's just say. Okay, so we have 2 things here. We want to write for 25 minutes and we want to write 1,000 words. So what we do is we just hit / word count and boom, it's going to start counting the words as we type. And then because we want to be focused for 25 minutes, we're going to use a Pomodoro timer, which just kind of counts down. So we'll hit / Pomodoro, boom, hit enter. Check out this. Now our words are being counted. Just so you know, it does count these words on that line. So you can kind of subtract those. I'm sure they'll get that fixed at some point soon. But this little timer starts. You would hit start, and there it goes. And now you would say, okay, my goal. If I can type good, my goal is to write for 25 minutes and hit 1,000 words. You don't want to see me type, but you can just keep typing. And one issue you might see is that the word counter hasn't changed much, and that might be because of the positioning. So you may have to put the timer before the word count or play around with that. So that's something, again, they're changing stuff a lot. So yeah, so anyway, you have to play with the structure of it. It seems like it's not counting right now, but it's done it before for me. So make sure you play with that. But the timer is a very, very cool feature. And what it does is it goes on for 25 minutes, and then it beeps and it stops. So the goal is then you write for 25 and then you stop. And then you take a 5-minute break and you write for 25 more. By doing that, you're actually going to get 50 minutes per hour where you're actually writing. So it's a great productivity hack to get a lot more stuff done. The final thing I wanted to show you was just a really cool feature where if you have an image or a document that you want to save that perhaps you didn't you don't want to like type it out or things like that, and you don't want to just throw it in Google Drive where it'll probably be lost and never seen again, you can just hit this / upload, and you can actually upload just about any kind of file type that you would want. I'm just trying to pick something. Here's a picture of me. Let's just do that. I'll do my logo. So hit open, and you'll see, boom, it did a quick upload. That's one of my images so you can really deck out your pages and make them look very good. So anyway, that's enough for this first video on how to use Roam Research. I hope you enjoyed it. There are things that I didn't cover. If you have questions, please comment below, like, share the video, all that fun stuff. Make sure you go to my site, check out MikeGiannoulis.com. And until next time, see ya. Peace.